This video is based on external growth and it's for Unit 9 for the AQA Business Studies A-Level specification. Now within this video we're just going to concentrate on one merger and acquisition, and we're going to look at conglomerate growth. So this is where a business from a completely different industry merges or acquires another business. Now a conglomerate merger is different to a lateral merger, but the conglomerate merger will be the one that's used more within the AQA spec in terms of the terminology. Lateral mergers are probably more common in the business environment due to the industries being related and less of a risk. In terms of conglomerate mergers, if we see by these diagrams that I've got here, I've tried to really emphasise that the business is going into the unknown. The business is entering a different industry it's never ever operated in before, and therefore there's a risk factor and there's uncertainty within it. Now, I've tried to find lots of examples to highlight a conglomerate merger, but actually there's not that many. It's simply because of the risk factor. Now there's businesses with a massive, I suppose, business portfolio with lots of different companies which differ in different industries, but that they might not be necessarily mergers and acquisitions. They may have started up, or they've kind of gone under the radar and they've bought them when they've been a small company, and then with their expertise allowed them to grow. Now one example of a conglomerate merger which I'm going to look at is Walt Disney and the ABC. Now this merger happened in 1995, but it's probably one of the biggest examples of a conglomerate merger. It could be argued it could be lateral, and I'll look at the reasons for that in a minute. But the media business, this was an article written about this merger, and it says Walt Disney to acquire ABC in a $19 billion deal to build a giant for entertainment. So if you think about Walt Disney and how it started out, if we look at the theme park industry, and obviously they have diversified, they have moved into film, they have moved into television, and therefore the acquisition of ABC, you may argue, that's also in television, it's obviously in entertainment, news broadcasting. So therefore is it not lateral, but it is considered to be a conglomerate via textbooks and online, simply because of how Walt Disney started out. Now it says here the combined company would bring together the most profitable television network and its ESPN cable service with Disney's Hollywood films and television studios. The Disney Channel, its theme parks, with all the well-known characters that we know today, would generate masses of sale with ABC. Now other examples of conglomerate mergers. So another example, as I was saying before, is Samsung. If we think about Samsung's business portfolio, they diversify in lots of different industries. They've got their own theme park, they deal with military, and obviously we know Samsung more for its technology. Now, in terms of some of these businesses, you could argue, did Samsung set them up? Did they start them up? But as I was saying earlier in the video, there will be some of these that they've actually acquired, they've merged with, just to help with their business portfolio. So now we just need to look at the reasons as to why businesses would carry out a conglomerate merger and the possible consequences. So when we look at the reasons as to why to carry out a conglomerate merger, I have a look at these two pictures, and it's also to do with diversification, and it's considering, I suppose, if you think about that, all those eggs in one basket, is to make sure that you spread out risk across different industries. So, for example, if you think about risk-bearing economies of scale, you're in a position where if there's something to happen in one industry, at least you've got other industries to back up the business and to make sure that you're still stable within the business market, regardless of what industry you're in. Also, I suppose it improves your brand presence. Because you're arranging in different industries, you're going to target different segments. Your customer base is going to be huge, and customers are going to be aware of you because of all the different industries that you operate in. In terms of the consequences for the conglomerate merger, I think it's quite obvious to say it's the most risky external growth strategy in comparison to all the other mergers and acquisitions. You're going into an industry you've got no experience of. You're going into an industry which is completely unknown to you, and also you're going into an industry that you're not known for. So imagine customers customers might not trust you. Yes, they may trust you within the industry that you originally operated in, but to go into a new industry where maybe there's established businesses, they may think that you might have an impact on the business that you've merged or acquired with, their services, their products. So then, therefore, they may even lose trust within that original company. And in terms of how are you going to operate with this business, especially if you're acquiring them, are you going to keep their management staff on? Are you going to keep their more official senior leadership on? Because if not, again, you don't know that industry. You don't know how to operate within that industry. So therefore, it's a risk. So I think in terms of disadvantages, the disadvantages is the amount of money, obviously the amount of resources, the commitment to such a merger, with it being completely unknown and a complete risk.